And I'm recording now too.
This guy clicked record first.
You're
It's
like
like
the
those
dude
YouTube
in-
comments.
I was just gonna say, you're like the guy in the YouTube comments that just replies first. Like, congratulations. Your prize is staring into the void.
Well,
You get nothing. You win nothing.
I reward you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. That was the stupidest answer to any question anyone has ever given. Everyone got stupider listening to that.
Everyone got stupider reading your dumbass comment on YouTube. Congratulations. May God have mercy on your soul.
Let's get on with this now.
All right.
3, 2,
1.
1.
Welcome
Ladies
to
and
the Pack
gentlemen.
Hebron podcast. My name is AJ Lagamita.
I am D'Anthony Mandayot.
No.
Just Dan Mayot.
As soon as you started it, just the cringe.
D'Anthony Maytano.
We are, I am not Thany Goodtano.
I am the least busiest music nerd.
I think I might beat you for the least busiest music nerd. That's a close competition. But anyway,
Yeah,
we're
it's
back
probably
here.
you.
It's probably me. But we're back with another new episode this week. We got some stuff to dive into. We'll start off with drinks and then Patriots news. And then this week we are talking about Welcome Interstate Managers by Power Pop Legends. Grammy nominated or Grammy award winning?
I think they were just Grammy nominated, but Fountains of Wayne, or
Fountains of Wayne.
as a I hate the word normie because I think like that word is just overused, but like somebody who's not really into music or like a well-known aficionado on bands and artists, you may know them for their song called Stacy's Mom, which happens to be on this album.
Which was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Vocal Pop Performance. That is wild.
That is pretty wild. But we answer the question with that album, does it hold up? And I think this is a very interesting album to go in on. But before we do that, what are we drinking today? I am drinking just water. Stay hydrated. You gotta...
We've been doing these things midday lately, so the drink recommendations have been not up to snuff, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean...
What do you want? What do you want for nothing, listeners?
Yeah,
We're
what do
living
you
our own
want?
lives. You can't
Exactly.
You can't
I'm
judge us.
having fun with it. Got to stay hydrated with the water. It's what keeps you alive, and most of us are not drinking enough water. So, and I go with the good old tap water. I'm not. I put some chest on your hair, or some hair on your chest. Excuse me. Wow.
That was awesome.
Chest on your hair.
You're really trying to grow that third arm.
Yeah, drinking Charles River water, it'll do that to you.
You're gonna get superpowers.
Dude, I'm going to be the new quarterback for the Patriots.
Well, God knows we need a backup.
Bill Belichick would sign me off the street if he saw I had a third arm. He'd be like, we can do something with... no, it would be more like, we could do something with that guy. Like, he's a very talented player. Like, 3 arms will definitely make a real big difference on the field.
There's nothing in the rule book against having 3 arms.
There's nothing in the rule book that says you can't have 3 arms and play football in the NFL. So
Just
that's what we're going to do.
We're just going to have to train him better on situational football.
We're on to Denver.
We're on to Denver. My thoughts exactly. Jeez.
Anyways,
as far
what
as
you're
drinks
drinking?
go, I have a pitifully small glass of Kim Crawford Sauvignon Blanc, which I just consumed alongside 2 vegan enchiladas that were delicious.
That's not like a good wine pairing there. I will say that.
It's a terrible wine pairing, and the I forget her name, but the lady who taught my wine tasting class that I took in college for actual college credits, she would be disappointed in me, but it was all I had. So again, what do you want from me?
I mean, it is what it is. Would you describe it as $2 Chuck?
No,
or is it a little bit more sophisticated? Like, how much did you spend on the bottle?
It was like $12.
I mean, that's like, I remember watching, there's like a very big social media influencer, like marketing person, Gary Vaynerchuk. You often see him inspiring young millennial entrepreneurs to do something bigger or whatever. But he originally started in wine. And I saw one interview with him that like $12 is like a good. There's no big difference between like a $13 bottle of wine or like a $50 bottle of wine. It's kind of like the same.
I mean, the processes are mostly the same. The big one is just like,
isn't it age?
Aging can be a thing. There's also, I think one of the big differences with something like what I'm drinking right now versus like a lot of local vineyards is the fact that there's definitely additives to this one, like a lot of just like refined sugar or like flavor enhancers and stuff, because a lot of those big name wine brands like Kim Crawford and stuff that you can get at a grocery store or a liquor store or something, they're trying to make like a unique, like not a unique product. They're trying to make the same product every time, no matter what, the crop yields are or whatever. And this is probably the least interesting thing we've ever talked about on this podcast. But
it's like McDonald's. Like no matter what, like if you buy a bottle of Kim Crawford in Nashville or like in New Zealand, it's going to be like McDonald's. Like if you go to McDonald's in the Midwest or go to McDonald's in Florida, it's all going to be the same.
And there's only going to be, there's only those slight variations. So I mean, it's a decent wine. It's probably the one that I drink the most because it's smooth and it's easy and it tastes decent, and who can complain? Kim Crawford, sponsor us. We'll do an entire podcast about all of your different wines, because I just learned within the last year that they make more than just the Sauvignon Blanc, which is cool. So if you're a wine drinker, get some Kim Crawford, I guess.
Sure. All right.
I guess.
Or buy local. But anyways, Patriots news. First up, a lot of things changed since the last time we talked about the Patriots.
So many things.
Between Cam getting COVID and the game being moved to Monday instead of Sunday, which that
Monday
bumped
night
me,
doubleheader.
Which I think moving forward, the NFL, that's a cool idea. Like a doubleheader, like a Monday night, just like every week. But I was bummed I couldn't see the Patriots on my birthday. One, Stephon Gilmore, he just got, as we're talking, it is currently 4:21 in Eastern time, or in your time, it's 3:21.
True.
Stephon Gilmore also tested positive for COVID. What will that mean for our team? Also the Chiefs, especially there's that picture floating around of Stephon Gilmore hugging Patrick Mahomes after the game.
Yeah.
That is not a good look for the NFL or for the Patriots. And just what's going to happen.
They got 3 weeks. They got 3 weeks of, football and a little bit of normalcy as far as actually playing the games and having them be entertaining and everything, and it is very quickly becoming just an absolute shit show.
Right.
Between the Titans and the Steelers and the Vikings and now the Pats and Chiefs are going to have to be on their toes about it, and man,
I'm looking at it right now, and is it worth playing any of the games on Sunday? Why not just lock it up and then wait it out for another month? I'm fine with that. Suspend the season for a little bit.
Maybe. From a moral kind of standpoint, I would say, suspend it, make it happen. From a entertainment perspective, I would like to be able to keep watching football. But there are things to be gained by having that suspension. Namely, every advertiser who right now is working on their Super Bowl commercials.
That is true.
Can figure out how to make them more entertaining than the one last year. There were like 2 good ones, maybe.
To be honest with you, I don't remember any of them.
Exactly.
Off the top of my head.
There are a few from throughout the years that you can quote like right off the top of your head. This past year, the only thing that stood out was the Hyundai commercial, the Smart Park.
Oh yeah. Well, I think the only reason why that was so memorable
is because we're both Boston fans.
Yeah, it's because we're both from Boston, so like that kind of made a difference to it. Yeah, that tipped the scale to it. But like, is it really worth having? I mean, obviously, like I'm very entertained by football and like I love watching it. But is it really worth it to have it with a lot of players getting COVID and like the possibility of like a risk of? I mean, like how many times did the Patriots like get tested and then they went on the plane? Stephon Gilmore comes home and then gets tested for it today.
Yep.
Like who knows who got it on the Kansas City Chiefs or in the other players in the Patriots locker room. I mean, they were on a plane. There was a lot of things that went wrong.
They're playing a full contact sport, you know.
Right.
It's they're playing the NFL as a whole, but also, I mean, I would argue the country as a whole has been spending the past, how the hell long has it been? 8 months? Something like that.
Yeah.
They've been playing Russian roulette this entire time. Like this is just going to keep happening.
I mean,
oh well.
It's definitely going to keep happening, and until people take it seriously and like do the necessary precautions, more people are just going to end up getting it, unfortunately.
Yep.
But
so stay safe out there, folks. But let's turn our attention to some post-game analysis.
Yeah, absolutely. God damn. First off, Hoyer was terrible. There's no other way to sugarcoat that. He was not good.
And the sad part is that he had opportunities and he showed a lot of potential. Like Brian Hoyer did, at least for most of the first half of the game. Brian Hoyer did exactly what everybody was expecting of him. He did exactly what he is part of the Patriots, to do.
Right.
He showed up, he ran the offense. They had some decent plays and some decent schematics, and he was doing a good job of reading things for the most part, right up until they'd get to the red zone. And then he would just fall apart every time.
Right. Like there was right before the first half with that whole timeout fiasco, where he thought he had a timeout in the back pocket, but he literally took a sack, which you absolutely cannot take a sack on that situation. Like the clock doesn't stop. It keeps ticking away.
Yep.
You have to throw it away. And he's a veteran quarterback. At this point. How old is Brian Hoyer at this point? He's like
early 30s, mid 30s.
He's 34 at this point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This is his first start as a Patriot ever.
On his third stint with the team.
Yeah, which is funny. I think that's hilarious.
Back and forth.
But you could tell the offense definitely missed Cam Newton out there. And also, like, what is it? Like, Brian Hoyer also had a cup. Didn't he? He either fumbled or he got an interception.
I believe he did. I believe he had a couple of interceptions. One of them might have been a pick six. No, I think the pick six was on Stidham, maybe.
Yeah, the pick six was on. Pick six was on Jarrett Stidham, who.
Yeah.
He looked okay.
He was a shot in the arm, and he did better than I think could have been expected of him, given the situation that he was thrown into. But man,
Brian Hoyer had an interception as well in that game.
If nothing else, watching that game on Monday was definitely that game. Weirdly enough, went in Cam Newton's favor with Cam not even being there. I think everybody, personnel, players, everybody kind of sat back and went, oh, we've got to get that guy healthy, and we've got to keep him healthy because we, defensively, we did everything that we needed to and more. We held the Chiefs for an entire half, and then most of the third quarter. Like we did exactly what we needed to do, and there is no way that even today Andy Reid or Patrick Mahomes is sitting back and chomping at the bit to go against the Patriots again. I think as soon as Cam is back and healthy, they are going to want nothing to do with playing this team again. again. Although with Gilmore now out, we're going to, the situation is continuing to not look like it's playing out in our favor.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like the Chiefs offense only scored 19 points. I mean, you had the pick, it was like another 7, like so 26-10. I mean, it was a 2-score game at one point.
Yeah, the Chiefs were relying on field goals pretty much the entire time, and we did what we had to do, and especially playing with one hand tied behind our back, it was right. A Patriots moral victory for sure, but with everything else that's going on COVID-wise and stuff like that, it doesn't feel the same way that it did when we played the Seahawks and lost, where we were sitting back and being like, okay, this team can compete. This is a big one. A couple of days out here after this Kansas City game, I'm sitting back and I'm worried because if the NFL can't kind of contain this and figure out some smarter ways to deal with outbreaks and everything else, there might not be a season to play, first of all, and second of all, if there is continuing to be a season, the Patriots need to have every asset they can because we're not at full strength, even with Cam and Stephon Gilmore and everything else. So,
yeah, I mean, it's tough when you don't have one of your best players on the team out there competing. But also the Chiefs did a good job. They shut down Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman had 6 targets and only was able to catch 3 of them. So that's a huge deal.
Yep.
We're still like a run first team, no matter what. That's kind of been our MO this whole year. We're gonna run with all the options that we had. I mean, Damon Harris had 100 yards rushing, 17 attempts. Rex Burkhead, fantastic game, 11 attempts for 45 yards. And James White coming out of the backfield. Sony Michel was out, of course, but like when Sony Michel is in the mix, he's had some pretty good games this season as well.
Yep. It's all about keeping us healthy. And, once we kind of have our whole team back, we're going to be back in the position to do, we were in a pretty good position to do this against Kansas City, but with a healthy team, we're going to be really effective once again at, controlling the run game and thereby controlling the clock. And that's how this team is going to, continue to just kind of slice and dice its way through the rest of our admittedly really difficult schedule, is just controlling the time of possession and keeping the other offensive players on the other team off the field.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't walk away from this game like, man, this wasn't a bad loss.
No, this early playing with 2 backup quarterbacks, like what?
I don't think it was that bad.
What do you want for nothing?
I will say this: we do desperately need another pass rusher, and somebody whose main job, all they do is just get after the quarterback.
And we need
that is the person that we need.
Yeah, a decent pass rush, which I think I'm still torn, especially after this game. I'm really torn about if we had to go through the trading deadline and get just one player, which side of the ball do I want us to find a player? I think that's a really good idea, and we've talked about it before. Getting ourselves a pass rusher that can just, really help contain, especially in a league where we're seeing quarterbacks just moving constantly.
Right.
Something along those lines is really good, but I'd also like to see, part of the reason why a lot of the media is kind of on Julian Edelman after this game is because of the drops and everything else. But he can't catch everything. And N'Keal Harry had a beautiful that little touchdown in the corner from Stidham. That was priceless. But
yeah,
an actual deep threat, as tired as this comparison is, like a Randy Moss type, where it really doesn't matter if the ball was thrown perfectly or if there was some sort of pressure or some sort of error or something, like somebody who has fucking magnet hands.
Yeah, and I mean, as much as I would love that, I want a pass rusher. I think we rely so much on our running game. I think why go away from that? I mean, we have Cam Newton, who's a threat. We have James White. We have Sony Michel. We have Damon Harris. Any of those running backs that we have in our that room can get 100 yards rushing at any point. We've seen it.
It would be nice. It would have been nice to come out of this week's game with a healthy team, because I think this this was before Cam got sick. Now that Stefan's sick, and like now everything's kind of up in the air. But I think initially the plan for this game was going to be kind of the real kind of test for the team.
Right.
And this game was supposed to give us that information, because when you're playing the chess match throughout the entire season, there are those turning point games where you kind of figure out, this is where we're really deficient, this is where we are really good, here are some things that we haven't seen in the first few weeks. Like that first quarter of a season gives you enough of that information to make informed decisions as far as trades and things like that go. With the way that everything's come up, where we're not back at square one, but we are not that far from square one. We gotta figure out how to, bring this ship back to the harbor.
I mean, it's you can't be worried about this team. I mean, we've been in bigger holes beforehand, and that was with Tom Brady. I mean, we're going to be fine. We're going to still win a bunch of games this year. It's unfortunate with some of the players that are sick, and I imagine it's going to be more coming out, more players that are going to be reported that are sick.
Well, unless everybody starts wearing Andy Reid's fucking ridiculous face shield.
I think that's hilarious.
It's a given.
Yeah,
I like how they put vents in it now so that like the steam can go out the top.
Yeah, like the first week it was like, that was so funny. I saw that all over Twitter.
That is my favorite thing.
But we'll see. If I had to place money on a game happening this weekend, I'd say no for the Patriots.
I kind of hope that we don't have a game this weekend. Not because I'm the least bit concerned about playing the Broncos. It's more just I had an issue with the fact that we played the Chiefs on Monday. That's not how this is supposed to work.
We went there in the same day left. There was no like settling in time. It was like pretty much like you fly in, you go to work, you get out, and you go back to home. Like that's a lot of travel in one day. There was no way that they could do it. There was no way that they were going to. I mean, it's actually pretty impressive that we were even able to compete that much. And I think that's a testament to Bill and how well he like coaches his guys up.
Yeah. And I mean, so there's the fan perspective of it where it's like that game shouldn't have been played because, that's not how the NFL runs, away teams ever. You're not supposed to fly in, fly out on the same day. You're not supposed to be on the ground for whatever they were down there for, like 8 hours or something. Play the game, get up and go, especially in the middle of a pandemic and everything else. That just created more mayhem, which is obviously not needed. And then there's also the actual science of what we're now seeing with Stephon Gilmore and with what I'm sure we're going to be seeing for weeks and weeks throughout the rest of the NFL, where it's like,
absolutely,
Cam got diagnosed. Cam has obviously been on fields around other people with his teammates, not wearing masks, going back and forth constantly. There was no way that it was actually safe for anybody to be getting on those planes to go to Kansas City from Foxborough. It just like that, the fact that got played that quickly when it's weird that got played quickly, especially considering what happened with Tennessee and putting off that game with the Steelers.
Especially considering what we have always known about this. Like if you come in contact with somebody with COVID, like those symptoms may not show up for 2 weeks after the fact.
And they may not show up at all, but you can still be carrying a viral load that you can go and pass to somebody else, which is not unique to this. That's just how viruses work. And I do kind of understand the business side of things for the NFL. They probably had to sit back and be like, they already put off Titans and Steelers. I don't know what's going on with the Vikings.
Right.
If they had to put this off any longer, it probably would have imploded the schedule.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand why they were really pushing to have this happen, but in reality, that game really shouldn't have been played in the first place.
No, it probably shouldn't have, but I mean,
c'est la vie.
I mean, it is what it is, and I mean, like we talked about it like earlier, like we thought like the Patriots would compete, which they did. They competed a lot in this game. We didn't expect a win.
No.
At least I didn't. I expected like competitiveness. I expected like a slugfest, which that's what it was. I mean, like we held them 6-3 at the end of like the first half. Mm-hmm. Like I'll take that.
And if it weren't for some truly terrible officiating, it would have been an even closer game.
I wouldn't say that.
I forget what the actual term was for it. It was basically a strip sack, but it was kind of a interception.
Oh, yeah, on Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, that call getting whistled that early, and Bill not willing to throw a challenge flag in time before, the Chiefs just decided to go and punt. Like, that was bad on every side. Bill should have been able to throw a challenge flag, and he should have had the wherewithal to throw the challenge flag right then and there. That play should not have been whistled dead when it was.
They did a Patriots move. We've done that plenty of times on teams.
Oh yeah, just turn around and hurry it up and move right past it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they did what we have done many times. So like, props to Andy Reid, props to the Chiefs for doing that. We have that kind of wherewithal to do it, to use your word.
Yeah, but it was, oh man, that was frustrating as hell to watch though.
It is what it is. If there is a game this week, for this sake, let's just assume that there is one. This week we're facing the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
They are. If you would have asked me this a couple weeks ago at the beginning of this season, I would have been like, this is one of the best teams, or like one of the sneaky best teams in the league. And I think I picked the Patriots to lose this game originally.
I feel like a lot of people did.
They have a pretty good team, just on paper. But currently, the way that it sits now, Von Miller is gone, their top defensive pass rusher. He has a torn Achilles, I believe, or ACL. Oh. It's one or the other. It's a terrible injury that he is out for a long time. They are on their third starting quarterback at this point. And last week they looked good against the Jets, but let's be real, everyone looks good against the Jets. The Jets are the worst team in the NFL currently.
They are. I feel like opposing teams playing the Jets are just showing up, and like playing against the Jets right now is the equivalent of seeing like a dead deer on the side of the road and poking it with a stick.
Yeah.
Just like, are you alive?
The Jets are... That team is so poorly run. I feel for Jets fans. I feel bad for Jets fans, but I also laugh at them.
Well, yeah, that's one of the... It's like Jets and Buffalo, and I'm really interested in seeing. I haven't watched a lot of them this season because I've watched more NFL because of the pandemic than I've ever watched before in my life. But like, I've never really paid attention to Buffalo all that much. I just know that they've always just kind of been like, it's Buffalo.
They've had some of the worst luck in the NFL. They didn't make the playoffs for 18 years or 17 years, I believe, from like 2000 to 2017. They lost 4 straight Super Bowls in the 90s.
So bad.
They wasted the career of O.J. Simpson when he was a football player.
And then OJ just burned all the rest of the goodwill.
Yeah. But, when OJ was a player, he was one of the best running backs of all time. To give him credit, but after his football career, that gets a little bit shady there.
How fucked up is it that Kurt Schilling and O.J. Simpson are essentially the same person?
Wait,
not that Kurt Schilling has ever been accused of murdering a guy, but like,
yeah, you gotta back that up.
Kurt Schilling,
I want to hear this logic.
Hero. Well, okay. Kurt Schilling, Boston hero. O.J. Simpson, Buffalo hero.
Okay.
And a few years afterwards, they just take any goodwill that people had towards them, which was admittedly a lot, and then went and threw it out the window.
They're two different cases, I would say.
Kind of, but they're not that different.
Well, OJ was way more beloved by the American public. He was a broadcaster for, like, I believe NBC back in the day, like in the 80s and 90s. Not 90s, but like 80s. He was in all kinds of commercials. He was like one of the first African Americans to be in wide national media ads, like for Hertz and like all these other things. So Kurt Schilling just had a video game company that stunk, and then he showed himself as like a real Republican and having his Trump rallies fail.
Well, not even a Republican, like an actual like angry old weirdo. Like conservative isn't even a nice word. That's too nice of a word to throw at him. It's like
extreme conservatism.
Yeah, like weirdo tea party just stupidity.
Yeah, I mean,
But the point that I was making earlier is that, like, speaking about how much bad luck the Bills have always had,
yeah,
and how much hype there is for them right now, I do think I will be a little bit entertained if at some point this season or in the next couple of seasons they just find a way to implode. Because it's the Bills and they've always kind of gotten the short end of the stick.
I mean, they have, but I mean, so far, Jared Allen has like looked fantastic for them. I'm really looking forward to November 1st. That's when the Patriots and the Bills play. So that's the one that I have circled for now. But let's get back to Denver here. They are pretty banged up at this point in the season. Will they put up a fight? Tough to say. I mean, especially like a third string quarterback that they signed off the street. I would expect the Patriots to win this game, maybe not handedly, but like I think it will be a lot like the Raiders game where it's close at the beginning, they fight in the game, but like the Denver Broncos just make too many mistakes to compete. That's what I see happening.
I think that is a accurate assumption going into that game.
Currently on ESPN, their matchup predictor, they have a 60% chance for the Patriots pulling it out, 40% for Denver. And also last night, this week, my brother got me the brand new Madden game. And yeah, I did tell you. And I actually played this matchup. I just started a Patriots franchise. And I'm planning to play the rest of the games this season, and Patriots ended up winning that game. Cam Newton was playing, but like we don't even know if he's playing this weekend.
Can you put Jarrett Stidham in and run the simulation again?
I mean, I can.
Good.
I can run the simulation or just play the game myself. But we won it 29-27. But I don't think it's going to be that close. Also, the first quarter of that game was extremely sloppy, and there was 6 turnovers, 3 by each team.
Yikes.
Yeah, it was a very sloppy game, but I don't expect that this weekend at least.
I hope not.
All right. Anything else you want to say about Patriots talk?
No, I'm good.
All right. I wish a speedy recovery to Cam and Stephon Gilmore, and hopefully everyone else on the team is safe and healthy. And yeah, let's social distance and all that.
Stay safe and let's get at them.
All right, now moving on, we're going to be talking about the third studio album by the American rock band Fountains of Wayne.
And this is I will start this off by saying that this is the Dan Mayotte special. The past couple of weeks, we've let the listeners decide. We've put the polls out on Twitter and Instagram and given you guys a choice and listened to the people. This week it was Dan's birthday, and in preparing for the episode, you threw out a couple of albums that you thought would be fun to go over, and we settled on this one.
Yeah, and I mean, I've never listened to this album all the way through. Like, I've listened to some of the songs on it, but given how Welcome Interstate Managers had really good ratings back when it was first released, and also some of the bangers on this album are fantastic. Feels like a very good record to go through.
It's what they call power pop, which I've never really liked that. I've never liked that genre name, at least. There's a lot of those bands that I do really enjoy. But the idea of calling it power pop has never felt particularly well suited to the style of music. It is very kind of in the vein of like a Weezer kind of deal. It's got that early 2000s, late 90s, really poppy, really catchy guitar-based rock music kind of deal going on.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the original power pop came from like the 60s. Came from bands like the Yardbirds and like the Byrds, and a lot of like those type of bands. I mean, like the Kinks are one of the originators of power pop, and I guess it came back in like sort of like the 80s with the new wave, like the Cars, for example, but 90s coming back with Weezer. They were the ones that kind of popularized it, especially with some of their part-time or some of their some of their side projects, like the Rentals, which, if you haven't listened, that is a band I would recommend if you are looking for new music. But yeah, this is a pretty good record. It came out June 10th, 2003. and it contains probably one of the best songs from the entire 2000s decade, Stacy's Mom.
I would actually argue it contains two of the greatest songs of the early 2000s.
Oh, do tell.
One of which is it's a dark horse contender, but we'll get to it. It's a 17 song album, so I'm not sure. Do you want to go track by track the whole way through, or do we want to focus more on the ones that we have notes on?
I mean, I have notes on all of them, but I am welcome to skip around. This is a long album, 17 minutes, like he said, 55-minute listen to, 55-minute album.
Which is something, but first of all, it is a true album, and I think that's one of the first positive points that I want to make about the thing as a whole, before we start diving in. There is something, it doesn't always work for every band. It definitely does not work for every band. A lot of them kind of function a lot better in the like EP, the EP or the singles kind of space.
Right.
But there is something really nice and a little bit nostalgic about having like an hour plus long 17 track, an album that you can put on your streaming service or find it on vinyl or pop it in the CD player of your car, whatever. Like it is something that you can just sit down and listen to front to back.
Yeah, I would say that
unit. I like it.
I mean, like if you need to go on a drive for like an hour straight, this is a good album to do it with. You can't do that with some of the past records that we talked about. Like you can't do that with like in quite a contrast from last week with Insomniac. Like they had 14 songs, Green Day did. Yep. This one has 17 songs and 55 minutes. That album clocked in 30 minutes.
Yeah, they were in and out.
Something like that. Yeah, it was. But Fountains of Wayne, they don't mince words either, and they also are able to cut the fat as well. But I think they do it in a more creative way.
Yep, there's only 3 songs on the album that are less than 3 minutes long, so it is a little bit of a behemoth, especially in the year 2020. But
I mean, they also don't have a song that's well over 5 minutes either. I mean, the longest song is Super Colliered. Yeah. That one is 5 minutes and 6 seconds long.
Yep, there's no...
Which I think is fantastic. I hate songs that are generally over the 4:30 mark. I think it's just like a little unnecessary.
Unless I'm listening to like true shoegaze or something instrumental, like a movie soundtrack or a post-rock band or something, like make your point and make it in a certain time frame. There's no need for 8, 9, 10 minute songs,
especially when most of it is like filled with instrumental.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some cases where like, okay, like that's a fine 9-minute song. Like the first one that just popped into my head was Jesus of Suburbia by Green Day.
Yeah, but even that might not be the best example, just because that's like Jesus of Suburbia is essentially like 6 or 7 mini songs that are all just...
That is true. That is very true.
So that kind of gets a pass, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, like we're not here talking about Green Day. That was last week. Which if you want to listen to that episode, we didn't do American Idiot. We did Insomniac, like I mentioned earlier. Check out our Spotify and other media services that you can check out and listen to.
Agreed.
But anyways, do you want to talk any more about this, or do we want to start going track by track with it?
Well, we already alluded to it a little bit earlier, and I'll just reiterate again. It is wild that Stacy's Mom got nominated for a Grammy.
That is wild. What were they competing against? That's what I want to know.
Let's bring up the Wikipedia page.
But anyways, while this band was trying to find a new record label, because they were dropped by Atlantic, which imagine Atlantic must be kicking themselves after they dropped this record, like especially like a big song like Stacy's Mom. So eventually they were able to sign with C Curve, that was on Virgin Records, which they're still pretty big. They're one of the big major record labels at the time. This got a lot of good reviews back in the day. All Music gave it 5 stars. Blender Magazine gave it another 5 stars. Entertainment Weekly gave it an A-. Mojo gave it 5 stars. Pitchfork 7.5, and as we all know, they are some of the harshest music critics. Maybe not harsh is the word, but just pretentious.
Agreed.
Rolling Stone, 3 out of 5. Okay.
Fair.
Spin gave it an A. The Village Voice gave it an A minus. So that's basically what we're dealing with today. That was widespread, usually like a very positive announcement or response to this record.
I'll pop in here to say the Stacy's Mom was up against Underneath It All by No Doubt, Misunderstood by Bon Jovi, Hole in the World by the Eagles, and Unwell by Matchbox 20.
All right, who ended up winning that?
That is.
I want to know who won it. Because like
it was No Doubt, Underneath It All. Okay.
I mean, No Doubt. I mean, Gwen Stefani. Like that's a big. I don't remember that song.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, yeah, sure, Fountains of Wayne were into their third record, but this is the first one that kind of catapulted them to like mainstream stardom.
And I'll also say that it is really kind of, the DIY nature of the album is also really kind of impressive. Because like you alluded to earlier, they got dropped by by Atlantic Records. And they basically self-funded this record because when they started shopping around for another deal, they wanted to go right into a record deal, and most of the people that they were negotiating with were asking about trying to, they wanted the band to basically make a demo. And they sat back and they were like, we're an established band that was already on a major label. What do you mean you want a demo? Like, we need a recording budget. We want to make an album.
Right.
So they basically self-financed it and did a lot of this themselves. Of course, they had a bunch of help. I think I saw Chris Lord-Alge was somewhere in there. Tom Lord-Alge did mixing on Mexican Wine and Stacy's Mom. There are definitely some heavy hitters that were part of this that really kind of lead towards that pop sheen that you hear all over it. But it's like this album being this big and this good on kind of a DIY level ish is part of what makes it so impressive.
Yeah, it does. And it really shows how talented they are as like musicians, that they were able to get those sounds that they wanted to. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now let's dive in.
Start with Mexican Wine.
Mexican Wine. Now, this is a very calculated songwriting. Especially the way that it rhymes and the way that it has like a really good flow to it. Like she lived alone in a small apartment across the street from the health department. She left her pills in the glove compartment. That was the afternoon her heart went. Like, that is bars, man. That is some very good rhyming right there. And like it all flows and it doesn't feel forced. Same amount of like syllables there. It's very well put together poetry.
And I love the early 2000s like fear of technology theme.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, he was killed by a cellular phone explosion. They scattered his ashes across the ocean. Like right off the bat, it is one of those things where the first line out of Chris Collingwood's mouth, you immediately know, oh, this is from like 2001, 2005, right? Like right at the beginning, right at the turn of the century.
But it doesn't feel dated to me though.
I don't think production-wise it does at all, but I think that line in particular is immediately just like, you don't hear a lot about, worries about cell phones and stuff anymore. Not in songwriting and definitely not like through the media and stuff. Like that was part of that time where, cell phones and computers and this has a lot of power and we don't know what to do with it. So that's I bet that line was good for a couple of punk points when this album was released.
Yeah, maybe not so much anymore. One of the things I loved about this song was the addition of the horns in like the bridge solo. The solo was tasteful. Usually I'm not into the type of solo that follows that melody, but like I thought it was fine,
Yeah.
It wasn't like anything that like made me like scoff at it. It was just it's a very good beginning track of this record. It kind of like sets the tone for everything else.
It's great pop rock songwriting right off the bat. Again, we put a lot of kind of weight behind intro tracks when we've been doing these deep dives. This is a great one to just get right in, and this is a really good kind of distillation of here's what you can expect over the next 15 tracks. Here's it's a pop rock band. It's like a 4 or a 5 piece, guitar based pop band, but we're going to add in a little bit of horns. We're going to add in some keys or these little flourishes, and that's also, I think, what makes it that like power pop is the fact that, at its core, it's really just kind of an alternative rock band, but there's so many other different things that are really song based, like different elements that come in because it's right for that particular song, even if you never hear that instrument again. It's that kind of thing.
And we see that a lot in this record where they kind of, they'll add like an ad lib, like little synth like riff here or there, or like some horn riff, whatever. I mean, they seem to have they're very enthusiastic about doing kind of stuff like that.
Absolutely. So that moves right into Bright Future in Sales.
Which the first time I heard this, I was like, this is a very Cars song or Boston. So back in the day, in like the 80s, 70s and 80s, there was this quote unquote Boston sound, which we can't really speak to because at the time we weren't even thought of.
We weren't even a glimmer in anyone's eye.
No, we weren't. But I mean, listening back to those records like the Cars and like Boston and Jay Giles' band, Aerosmith a little bit, although Aerosmith was a little bit more in the blues vein, I would reckon.
I would say they were a lot a bit more in the blues vein.
But they still had, you could hear like the influence of the Cars in Boston from Aerosmith. And now you can hear the influence of those bands in this song right here.
Yep. And as if
pretty much
the irony of talking about the Boston sound here is the fact that the first line is sleeping on a planter at the Port Authority. So in case there was any question about where this band is from,
New York.
It's a New York band. And what New York band is really complete before they start name dropping Port Authority
or Empire State Building or
Penn Station,
yeah.
Something about Grand Central.
Something like that. I mean,
Broadway.
Cue like any Billy Joel song ever.
Some throwaway line about the Upper West Side, like name it. It's gonna happen once an album, and here it is on this one.
Yeah, it's not one of those things that happen in bands from Boston. Like, no one does a throwaway line about the North End.
Nobody talks about St. Tarpios or Copley.
Or no one talks about, like, being trapped in South Station.
What if... I think it's hard to be trapped in South Station, but you're giving me ideas for Keep You.
Are you just gonna use like idea for the new Keep You song? It should just be like every cliche about New York except cliches about Boston.
All Boston areas.
Yeah, like
something about the Reginas at South Station.
It's something about like Fenway Park.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. But I digress. Bright Future in Sales. Very 80s, very late 70s. Like you could probably pick this out of like any band. Like,
yeah,
but it's not a rip off though.
No,
I would say that it's heavily influenced.
I think if they had gone a little bit more into like keys and synthesizers and stuff, it really could have been that kind of late stage Fleetwood Mac worship that you see from bands from like the 1975 and stuff like that. But
right.
They do a really good job of restraining and just having those little flourishes and stuff. So it's awesome song.
Yeah, and I like the big guitar solo with the wah-wah effect and alarm clocks. That's like a nice little like additive in there in like the background.
This was like the tail end of the wah pedal being truly acceptable and palatable for a guitar-based band.
Yeah, like now, I mean, it might come back eventually, but
it probably will, but it was old. It was already getting old as an effect when Guns N' Roses were doing it and Slash kind of came to prominence and that was his sound.
Yeah.
And this is probably right around the cutoff for that kind of deal, besides some like auto wah effects and like the way that they're able to manipulate the frequencies that they're boosting and cutting to get that kind of vocal effect. You don't hear a lot of that anymore. And I think for good reason that like it's an okay effect, but for the most part, it's just it's overdone.
Well, like this one was like, I think it was done tastefully. There are some that are just like, if I had to think of one guitarist that like overdid it with the wah-wah, it would probably be like Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. As much as I love Tom Morello.
Interesting fact, not a wah-wah.
Really?
It's a Digitech whammy, which I feel the exact same way about, except that most wah pedals it's just like a rocker for your foot, and based on where your foot lands is, what frequencies are being boosted or cutted. So when you rock back and forth, you get that wow, wow, like the vocal effect.
Yeah.
The whammy does that, but it actually shifts the pitch. So instead of just taking a single frequency and moving it back and forth, it actually takes the pitch and changes it. So Tom Morello was all about the dive bombs and stuff, where he would take the pitch of whatever note he was playing and just drop it like 3 octaves or whatever. And I think that effect itself is overdone, but I'm staring at my Digitech whammy right now, and harmonizers are still sick, and I don't care. I will play Misery Business by Paramore every time I pick up a guitar, and 3/4 of the time when I do it, I will do it through my Digitech whammy because harmonizers are awesome. Anyways,
okay.
Let's talk about the big one.
All right, we got the big one here, Stacy's Mom, which stylistically is power pop. Part of the song's inspiration was actually from a friend of, how do you pronounce his last name? I mean, I don't want to butcher it.
Schlesinger.
Had grown up, and his grandmother was hot. One of my best friends, when we were maybe 11 or 12, came to me and announced that he thought my grandmother was hot. And I said, hey, you're stepping over the line. But at that point in life, I wouldn't put it past anyone, he recalled. He hoped to strike a balance between humor and personality with the song. In writing the song, he was hoping to take influence from new wave and power pop music, which we can hear pretty like dead clear there. Dead on. Like, I didn't think of that until I actually read this. I was thinking a little bit about Mrs. Robinson, which I don't really hear that in it. Maybe
lyrical content. Lyrical content.
Yeah, and maybe like the Lemonheads version of that, their cover.
Yeah.
And sonically, I was thinking the Cars, a Rick Springfield sort of thing. He acknowledged that stylistically, the song owes a debt to the Cars song, Just What I Needed, which you can definitely hear that with the opening riff.
Well, the guitar solo is ripped. Straight from that song.
I mean, it's not like the same chords, but it's the same sort of like palm muted, very similar pattern there. Cars frontman Rick Osek thought the intro was a sample from Just What I Needed, but the band says they performed it in the studio and just got it right.
Yeah, the solo. I mean, Just What I Needed. I'm thinking about the guitar solo in Stacy's Mom is absolutely like it's close, but not quite one-on-one with Just What I Needed.
Right. It's not like the case of like for example, like a famous copyright case is Queen's
Under Pressure,
and then you had
Queen
Vanilla
and David
Ice's,
Bowie. Damn it.
Yes, sorry. and then you had Vanilla Ice's song. God, I can't even think of that one right now.
Ice Baby.
Ice Baby. Damn. When I'm put on the spot, I can't think. But but that one is so close. Like Vanilla Ice claimed, for example, like it was different in the sense that he added a note when it wasn't definitive to it. This case right here, if you're listening to Just What I Needed and then you're listening to Stacy's Mom, it's close, but it's not not even.
So Just What I Needed is the ba da 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 da.
Yeah.
And the guitar solo here is more like ba da da da.
Well, it's not even just the solo. It's also the opening riff as well to it.
Well, I mean, and every band has used those particular chords, and welcome to the wonderful world of power chords. It's
exactly.
It's going to be the same thing every time because you can draw a line from the Middle by Jimmy Eat World straight to Stacy's Mom. Same chords, might be a different key.
But like this is First off, I love this guitar tone that they do, and they don't really do this guitar tone in any other song on this record.
Yeah, but it's got that nice. It's got that. There
It's
are
chunky.
a couple of records. Yeah, there are a couple of records, especially from this time. And it's this beautiful time when Pro Tools and digital audio was really starting to take over, but everything was still based on like tape and analog sounds.
Yeah.
You were able to get these massive guitar tones that were a little bit like touched up by digital to put it straight in your face, but there was enough analog on the back end, like 3/4 of it was done to tape or like through the right kind of circuitry, that you get this awesome, super present, really gritty with like a full low end. Like those guitars are,
That's a great guitar tone, and you only hear it on this song in this album. This is the only song you hear that guitar tone, which I don't mind. I don't mind like they change up the guitar tones throughout the album. It kind of gives like a different flavors to it, which we'll probably end up going into.
Yeah.
Because there are definitely different flavors on this album. I mean, this is one of the best pop songs ever written, and it's easy to follow. There's no innuendos, there's no metaphors to it. It's just pretty straightforward. It's
Your
is
mom's
what
hot,
it is.
bro.
Yeah, like Stacy's mom has got it going on. Stacy's like just the repetitive of it. Easy chorus for people to follow. Background lyrics after every line in the verse. Like I'm trying to think of like a good line for that. Like Stacy, can I come over after school? After school. Like that is so easy to follow, and you can't tell me how many times like people have done that, because like I have like every single time singing that.
I can, because I was in a cover band and this was one of our staples. So yes,
It's one of the most. It's like such a fun song.
True. I think we've waxed. You had another thought.
Had another thought with it. I've never noticed the hand claps at 2:43. That was very like for a little bit. It was a little too loud on it, but like I didn't mind that at all. I thought it was fantastic.
Hypes it up a little bit, especially for something that's pretty mid tempo. Like it
has like that best like build up and gets the people like pumped.
Yeah, and I think this is. I mean, I'm wearing the appropriate shirt for it. I'm not sure if you can.
Yeah, I could see it. He's wearing a Hostage Com shirt.
Fantastic band from Connecticut. Definitely a punk band, but leaning towards this kind of power pop sound. Hostage Com never would have existed if it weren't for Fountains of Wayne, for sure. And there's Stacy's Mom is a great example, but there's plenty of other instances throughout this entire album where you hear some of there are like little xylophone flourishes and just the little elements that float in and out, kind of like we were talking about earlier. You don't get a band like Hostage Com without this band.
You don't get a lot of bands. I mean, you don't get bands like the Wonder Years, for example, who later on like actually cover Hey Julia, for example, from this record. And they kind of set the tone for how to write really good songs.
Correct. So that leads us into Hackensack. And speaking of covers from this album, this song was famously covered on a VH1 Unplugged session by Katy Perry.
Yeah. We have gone over quite a bit of rejection type of songs before this, especially with Taking Back Sunday. This is kind of a song about rejection, but kind of done in a more mature way, if I had to say.
Yeah, I get the feeling from this, especially with the chorus. Instead of the kind of "you'll miss me when I'm gone," like "fuck you" kind of energy, it's almost like a complacency kind of deal, especially when it comes to the lyrics. You know, I will wait for you as long as I need to, and if you ever get back to Hackensack, I'll be here for you. It's that instead of the big like middle finger to your ex or whatever, you get more of that just kind of complacent feeling of like, you're off to do your thing and I've resigned myself to what I'm going to do, so we're standing on opposite sides of a bridge and here we are.
It is what it is. I like the line, "I saw you talking to Christopher Walken on my television, on my TV screen."
Yeah.
which I think that's pretty funny. Just subtle references to that. Yeah, just like yeah, I'm off doing scraping paint off hardwood floors. Yeah, the hours suck, but like you're probably there, but I'm just doing my thing, and if you need anything, I'm here. But
yeah, it's an unrequited love song, but done in a way that, especially for 2003, I believe that was the year that Take This to Your Grave by Fall Out Boy came out. Like, this is the man's version of Grand Theft Autumn.
Yeah.
Instead of talking about your ex wrapping her car around a tree, it's more of just like it's not working. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. You're there. Like I'm fine.
It's that like this song is basically just a shrug. Just okay.
Yeah, which we've all gone through at some point. Which on to the next one. We have No Better Place.
Yes, we do.
Which, I mean, I like the cool stereo effect at the beginning of this song.
Very Revolver by the Beatles. Anytime.
I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah, anytime I can
and now
get
you're
some
leaving
really
New York.
Go ahead.
What? Nope, you go ahead.
No, anytime I can get that, anytime I can get those stereo effects where it doesn't seem like it's just a crutch, or there's a lot of times when that kind of comes in and it's like, well, we didn't know what to do, or it's just blatant early Beatles worship. Anytime you get those kind of stereo effects, I'm all in.
Yeah. It's and for those who don't know what that is at home, it's basically that stereo effect would be like one sound going from like one ear and then to the next ear, and then like it bouncing kind of like back and forth in kind of like a simplistic way. And you can go off of that if you have any more.
Yeah, no, just the panning, and again, it's part of that early Pro Tools kind of thing where that was a lot to have to do when you were dealing with all analog gear. So to turn around and be able to do something like that with a computer, where at this point it was more like plug in what you wanted to do, wait a couple of seconds for the processor to work it out, and there you go. I really enjoy that, especially when it comes in this era. Whereas now,
it's kind of everywhere.
I could do that with this podcast if I wanted to. Not that
you should do that. You should do that right now.
Like I could, and I might.
Why not?
Because this is going to be a beefy episode, and I'm not sure how much editing time I actually want to spend. But
that's fair. That is fair.
But yeah, it's very pop punk. It's all about,
That was a very unexpected buildup after the bridge at like 2:04. I was like right into the solo.
Yeah.
Was not expecting that. One of the things I like about this song is the bass kind of is driving it and holding it down, like the whole rhythm section, while guitar and synths and like all these other instruments can do pretty much run rampant and like do whatever they want.
Yeah.
That's my fair assessment of it.
Yeah, and I just like I like when the pop punk formula is applied in non-pop punk songs. There's a little bit of that like Menzingers-ish kind of thing going on. The bourbon sits inside me. Right now I'm a puppet in its sway, and it may be the whiskey talking, but the whiskey says I miss you every day. That's a great little stanza there. I like that. But there's, it has that kind of, now you're leaving New York, always talking about the town that you're in and, the trials and tribulations that come with that.
It's kind of like the pre-pop punk, like, how like in the 2010s, like a lot of bands were like, this town, blah, 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 blah. Like that was such like a pop punk trope.
Yeah.
This kind of, and maybe it happened beforehand. Maybe we have like some Blink-182 songs out there that talk about their town, or MXPX or something like that, like talking about their towns. But yeah, this is like classic pop punk right here.
But I think done in a little bit of a different venue and a little bit more tastefully. I'll
Absolutely.
take the lines that I just read. I'll take those over, the story so far with, I can't pass through India without feeling indigo. Like you hear that line and you just kind of sit back in your chair and you're like, Jesus, like that was the line. That's what you came up with, as opposed to something like this where it's like, oh, you like that's even just what I just read, that's 4 straight lines that makes a nice little verse right there. They do it really well.
Like they're obviously very calculated and know how to write a song. That's what it is. That's what it's all a part of. And I mean, we see it later on with this band's career, and also as like some of the members' careers. Like they went on to write songs for a bunch of different artists.
Adam Schlesinger. Adam Schlesinger.
Rest in peace.
Prolific songwriter.
Yeah.
Like that was a big loss. That was a big loss for the world. I believe earlier this year. What a beautiful songwriter.
For sure. And I mean, like he wrote some of the best music for some of the most important movies, theaters, television. I mean,
Agreed.
A lot of his songs, and you probably don't know the works, people listening at home, but like if you look him up, like he has a very extensive list of songs that he's written.
Yep.
Anyways.
Let's move on into, I said it earlier, there's a sleeper track on this album. For one of the best songs of the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Valley Winter Song is one of my favorite songs of all time. I think that this is a perfect pop song and one of my favorite wintertime songs.
I didn't know that.
This is one of my favorite songs, period. I love it. I love it so much.
Go into why it is like one of your favorite songs.
It's almost ballady, but a little bit more up tempo.
Yeah.
So you get like, it goes along at a pretty nice pace. You can kind of bob your head along to it. You can snap along to it. It's, the structure of the song is great. Like the acoustic guitars with a little bit of electric in the background, a little bit buried by reverb, which I think is a really great effect to be using there. It's not just because the chorus refers to a New England town, which immediately just brings back like the synesthesia, like the memories of snow days back home in Massachusetts and kind of sitting around and watching the snowfall and stuff like that. And to make matters worse, it was also featured in an LL Bean commercial.
Oh, nice.
It's also featured for anybody that listens to us that is familiar with the Gilmore Girls. The town troubadour, who is a recurring character in that show, plays this song at one point during a winter episode. And
I didn't know that.
I lost my mind because I think it was during the reboot. I think it's in one of the reboot episodes where he plays this, and I heard it and I immediately was like, "Oh my god!"
That's funny.
It's like the best case scenario for a love song where every with giant air quotes rock band has a song where the lead singer is speaking like directly through the microphone to their significant other.
Right.
And this is the best case scenario for that situation. Like it's so nice. It never really goes too far into the like campy, like overdone kind of deal lyrically or performance wise. It's it feels just very like lovey, I guess. It's such a great little like piece of winter music that isn't tied to a holiday.
What I like about this song is, sure, they probably could have kept it at just acoustic guitar and basic instrumentation, and that's it. But they chose not to. I love the synths. I think it adds a great depth to it. Because usually, I mean, like, acoustic ballads are a dime a dozen. There's a million out there. You can tell me they don't sound the same, that in a general sense, they do. This one stands out from, like, the rest of them.
It's just that little bit of extra instrumentation. It's really smartly written. Again, it's got those kind of pop punk themes where we're going to talk about landmarks in our hometown and we're going to refer to, the snow is coming down in our New England town, the weather and your town landmarks. You've heard it 1.5 million times, and in 2020, if it's your first time hearing this song, does it kind of strike you as overdone? Probably. But in the context of when this song actually came out, and if you actually really kind of surgically pick this song apart all day long, this is one of my favorite songs.
But like I would put this up against any pop punk song that's been released this year, and I think this would be well received today.
Yeah, oh man.
All right. Now moving on, we have All Kinds of Time.
Okay. I really hope that the mic picked that up. That was insane.
I heard it. Oh man, I hope that's the code open. Okay.
Make sure to add that.
All
anyway.
right, all kinds of time. What they were doing previously on up to this point, same sort of rhyming. They have what we have found with doing these, every band sort of has their formula of how they end up writing the songs that they do. It's very, very obvious to Fountains of Wayne. They have the formula of rhyming and different instrumentation than just the regular bare bones, like stripped down version, where it's just guitar, bass, and drums. And this is kind of like one of those songs that just does that.
Yeah, it's a similar rhyming scheme to Valley Winter Song as well, but it's kind of cool to hear you don't get a lot of football songs besides, every year there's whoever the hell it is, Mariah Carey.
Oh, yeah.
What's her name? You get the Monday Night Football theme.
Carrie Underwood.
Carrie Underwood. That's the one. You get those kind of things that are made specifically for the purpose. You don't hear a lot about the clock's running down, the team's losing ground to the opposing defense, and the young quarterback waits for the snap when suddenly it all starts to make sense.
Yeah, you don't really hear that. I will say this, it doesn't add anything for me, but I wouldn't say it's bad. It doesn't feel like filler to me. It seems like it's like even a song that doesn't appear to be the hit on the album, it's still well written. It's still well written and it's still calculated. Like it wasn't just like, well, we got to fill up time, so let's just write a song. It was like, no, we want to include this. We're making an effort to it.
And I think you just said the magic word as far as this album goes. This is the best case scenario for calculated music.
Yeah.
This is pop music. It's a band that is aiming for pop radio play. So it's calculated in that way, but it's not mathematical.
Right.
It's not designed to be hits from the ground up. It's playing to the strengths. It's like a situational kind of calculation that they're making, trying to get, a big album and to make a career out of what they're doing. And that is, I'm okay with that all day long.
Moving on to that, we have Little Red Light. First off, I want to say I love those harmonies. Again, the rhythm section really holds it all together, and I like how the lead eventually joins the rhythm in the chorus. It makes it more, it sounds more full than what before, and I don't know any other way to say that in a more smart way. Yeah,
that's really my only note on this song is just the building. Lyrically, I'm a sucker for anything that speaks to like working class kind of America. So the idea of this song thematically basically being about, the pencil pusher dude at the desk doing the thing and going back and forth on a commute, like lyrically, I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. But you hit the nail right on the head, where the way that this song just builds on itself over the runtime, by the end of that 3 minutes and 30 seconds, you're right there between harmonies and the way that the instruments are kind of weaving in and out of each other. A great production, which is a theme on this album. Really, really smart. Really smart kind of little digital flourishes here and there and everything else. Like this is a great example of, even though I would not say it's one of the best songs on the record, it is a perfect example of why this record works.
Yeah, it does. And I think it works especially well given the song that it's right in front of. So Hey Julia, or Hey Julie.
Hey Julie.
Which that is one of the highlights of this record for sure,
and is one of the songs that immediately had me thinking, oh man, like this is hostage. It's early Hostage Calm. Hostage Calm does not put out Die on Stage without Hey Julie.
I love the random percussion. I love the added like little riff with the synth it's so simple, and they could have done without it, but a lot of bands don't think to have like that little like do 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 like that is like I don't know, like I think that's really cool. Very simple song to follow, very rhythmic. Hours on the phone making pointless calls. I got a desk full of papers that means nothing at all. Sometimes I catch myself going into space, counting down the hours till I get to see your face.
Who does this sound like?
Who does it sound like?
Well, I would say me, but I don't have anybody that I'm waiting to see their face. So
What?
I would say it sounds like me, but I'm not waiting to see anybody's face. So we'll move right on.
But like just it's written in the similar way of like Stacy's Mom, that it's very that's very digestible and easy to follow. I love the added harmonica and the synth. I feel like you don't see that, and it doesn't stick to the status quo, like I said previously, which is very similar to what that song is about. Anyways, you have anything else you want to talk about with Hey Julie?
Nah, we covered it. We'll move on to Hallie's Waitress, which is this
is when like the album starts to take a little bit of a turn. It takes a turn, and it's like, we're not going to be power pop anymore. We're going to switch up the genres from now until kind of the end. This is where you hear, this is like a clear disco sort of influence right here, I would say.
Yeah, and just it's a big talk about it's basically, so the idea of Hallie's Waitress is supposed to be kind of an analog for Halley's Comet. So the waitress only comes around once every however many years. Which is a really funny. Cool. It's a funny idea for a song. The subtext being, again, in that very pop punk and Menzinger's Wonder Years, name your working class band. Very similar to a lot of the songs that they write, where you're talking about killing time and you're talking about, sitting in a diner and trying to figure out your life or whatever. This is right in that vein, and kind of opens the door for those bands to write those kind of songs.
Yeah, and like that sort of disco riff and held notes on like the synth and everything like that, and gang vocals in like the chorus. Maybe not gang vocals, but like there was a bit of a chorus in the chorus, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I mean, they do this a lot in this record, where they decide, yeah, you know what, we're going to change the sound of it to just mix it up for the listener, which leads to Hung Up on You, which is the exact opposite of anything that is like power pop, a country twang and sway song.
And we're going to start it off talking about Kentucky bourbon.
Which seems to, I mean, they love their Kentucky bourbon there.
It's very twangy. It doesn't sound, funny enough, it doesn't sound that out of context on the album. And obviously there's factors there. It's the same singer, and it's the same band that's playing throughout the entire album, obviously. But it's a really interesting kind of left-hand turn to take, to just be like, well, we're going to do these ballady, acoustic-y things alongside some straight up power pop, and now let's go country, I guess.
I mean, they kind of just do whatever they want, and just like the song before with the disco, they don't do it badly. It's not like a poor attempt at genre bending.
Well, this is another, and this is probably a hot take, but I think that a band like the 1975 doesn't get to where they are without this album.
I mean, probably not.
Genre hopping that band does, that kind of thing, especially over such a long album, which is notorious when it comes to the 1975. Like, this kind of sets the blueprint for how to do that decently.
Yeah, and I mean, like with the next song, Fire Island, this is a clear Billy Joel kind of number, sung in the very same delivery with like very similar lyrics as to Billy Joel. Obviously not Billy Joel, it's Fountains of Wayne. It's more of a juvenile millennial song about your parents going to Fire Island and no one is there like to keep track of you, so you're just gonna give chocolate to the dog.
It's that Generation X millennial kind of thing of looking at your parents and being like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, but this is the Gen Z, not Gen Z, maybe like Generation X, millennial, like Billy Joel kind of ripoff there.
Yep.
Of doing stupid stuff while your parents are gone, which we've all done that. It's fantastic.
It is part of growing up.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then there's Peace and Love.
Peace and love, peace and blessings.
Which is kind of a reggae, in a weird sort of way. It's kind of a reggae number. Kind of reminds me of the song Fly by Sugar Ray.
Yeah, I don't think you're far off on either of those comparisons. Like, it is, and again, kind of speaks to the strengths of the album that they just take these weird left-hand turns into, we're going to go for this genre. We're going to do this thing. They do a really good job of making that not completely and totally out of place in context of the album.
Right. Oh, shit. My power went out.
Oh, no. You paused. We've done so well.
Oh,
Dan,
AJ?
no.
All right. After technical difficulties of me losing my power, which
Weather-related issues.
I would never expect that living in a city, but I digress. We're going to move on from Peace and Love and move on to Bought for a Song, which one of the
Thought or a song.
Which one of the things I like about that song is I love the smooth transition from the previous song. They go right back into the straightforward rock and roll and previous sounds that they have had. Bass really holds it down while the solo is going off. It's hey, we're going back to doing rock things after taking a little bit of a break from that.
Took the scenic route back to what they've been doing on pretty much the entire rest of the album.
Yeah, that's probably the best assessment for that. I mean, it's not...
It's the road dog song.
Yeah.
It's we've been a band for however many years. We're out on the road. We're in different countries. We're doing the other things. It's a little bit of a rite of passage song. They just go right. They go through it and they do it pretty well. I wouldn't say it's one of the highlights of the album by any means, but it's, they do the road dog song better than a lot of other bands that have done that before them and have done it since them.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of their great songwriting that they do. Very rhythmic, excuse me, and they do it smartly. So, and it doesn't feel like filler to me. It's still very calculated. It's still well written, and it's not just, oh, we have this song lying around. Let's just use it, I guess.
You're not wrong.
Then Super Colliered, you hear... Super Collider, excuse me. You hear more of the power pop influences in this song, especially from the 60s. One of the songs that this reminds me of is Get Together by the Young Bloods. That's a pretty famous song from the 60s. If you don't...
Go ahead.
Well, if you don't know that song, it's the one that goes... It was in Forrest Gump. It's famous in other films as well, especially 60s and like any film about the 60s for that matter. It's the one that goes, come on, people now, smile on your brother. Like that one.
Oh, yeah.
It's that, like, it kind of reminds me of that same sort of vein as that song, but not quite a ripoff. And they do this a lot. I mean, I mentioned earlier in, what is it? Not Bought for Soup. Peace and Love, very similar to the song Fly by Sugar Ray, which I'm not mad at. Like, I mean, not bad songs to rip off, but they don't do it blatantly. It's not 100%. They do it stylistically, yes, but they do it in their own sort of way, in their own spin.
I really like how it's like a Gen X version of a Cold War song. Like, this was released after really the Cold War had quote unquote ended.
Yeah.
But it still has a little bit of that like Cold War anxiety kind of thing going on through the lyrics. It's I think it's a really smartly written song, and it's a nice way to bring that kind of theme that was prevalent, especially in the 70s and 80s, into a more modern context.
Yeah, for sure. And then moving on to Yours and Mine, and this is the shortest track on the album. And just it's kind of a nice, I mean, for the regular album version, not the extended version on the Japanese Spotify, and I believe one other version of this album. But when this originally hit, Yours and Mine was the final track on it. I mean, fine track. I mean, I feel like it's more of like a secret track type of deal.
Yeah, so usually when there's just like a little kind of coda thing at the end of an album, I'm not really all that into it most of the time. Like, it always feels like it's just tacked on for runtime or whatever else. But this kind of it serves that purpose in an actual effective way with everything else that has come before. Just this short little... It's not even really a summary, but it's just a nice little bookend at the end of an album. Just in about an hour, the sunlight's going to fade. You and me will divvy up the wine. Like, it's a nice, smartly put, I think. Just a little thing at the end. Just here's your final song. It goes out on a little bit of a quiet note, kind of.
Yeah.
Metaphorically speaking, it's a nice little, just like, we'll wrap it all up and we're not going to take up much more of your time. Just here you go.
Yep. And then finally, if you want to get into it, we have Yours and Mine. That's like the final track additionally to the Spotify version of this album.
Yeah.
And I mean, is it Level Up? No, it's Elevator Up, isn't it?
Elevator Up. Yep.
Yeah, that's the name of it. I apologize. Not much to say. I mean, it fits on there. There's no filler on this record for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't feel out of place. It's just, especially after Yours and Mine, Elevator Up is just kind of like, it's there.
Yeah. Yep.
The bonus track for a reason, which is unique because a lot of the times the bonus tracks or the demos that they'll tack on to other releases and things like that, a lot of times those feel essential. They feel like they could have replaced something that was on the album. I think a lot of times when those songs make it out into the public, you end up kind of looking back and going, oh man, like this could have been somewhere else. This could have replaced whatever this filler track was or whatever else. This is one of those unique situations where Elevator Up is like, it serves its purpose. It's the bonus track. It's the thing that you give to the people in the other places that had to wait longer for this or whatever. Like, it's my overall feelings on it are
Yeah, basically. And that is the whole record. Now, the question that we ultimately answer at the end of all these album throughs, does this hold up?
I'm going to go ahead and say yes.
Okay.
This is a really smart, so does it hold up in the pop culture music zeitgeist that we live in right now in 2020? Maybe not.
I mean, with the only exception on this record being Stacy's mom.
Yeah.
Like, that song will always be forever, like, played everywhere.
Yeah. So as a modern album, if this came out right now, would it be a staple? No, probably not. It would be a cult classic the same way that it really kind of is anyway. So I think for our current cultural climate, if this album came out, it probably wouldn't hold up. But the caveat to that is two things. One, actual music people that understand what they're listening to and have the critical listening skills will recognize what a great album it is. And two, in the wake of, in a big pop culture moment, like the MGK album being the number one album in the country.
Right.
People aren't done with guitar-based music. People understand a great pop song when it's written by like a 4 or 5 piece band, basically. So is that dead? No. And the other thing that weirdly comes to mind is the latest Taylor Swift album, where it is very kind of ethereal and there's a lot of instrumentation and there's a lot of space.
Yeah.
So right here, right now in this moment, does it hold up? Maybe not. For me, it absolutely does. And I think for most people with critical listening skills, it absolutely does. But I think if trends go the way that they kind of seem to be going in about a year or two, then this could come out and be like a big breakout classic.
I can definitely see that.
But the simple answer is, for me, yeah, absolutely it holds up.
So I'll be quite frank, before this, like going into this album, I never listened to it full all the way from front to back. Listening to it in 2020 and listening to it critically, this is a criminally underrated record. from front to back. It's very well constructed, very well written, and I think it's due for some people doing a more of a deep dive on it.
Yeah.
I think it's well deserved. I think doing a retrospect, I think it's well due for that, especially being it's now 17 years old, almost an adult.
Yeah.
But like,
Almost there.
yeah, it's almost there. I mean, the hits on it are still the hits. They're still fantastic. Even, I mean, everything is very well devised. There's no filler on it. At first, I was like, oh, 17 song album. I was like, oh man, like this is a long one. This is going to be
The behemoth.
yeah, this is a behemoth of a record. And I was a little, at first, I was just like, oh man, there's going to probably be some filler on there. There's probably going to be some tracks that are just like duds. No real duds on it. No songs that I was like, that, why would you put that there? That shouldn't be there.
And there are so many, I won't say full songs, but there are so many moments on different songs on this album where you listen and you go, like we were saying earlier, you know, bands like the 1975, like Hostage Calm. I could probably list more if I had a little bit more time to think about it. Like there are so many bands that owe a lot to this album. It's you know, this is a landmark that I think is criminally underrated, like you said.
Yeah, it is. Like we always put Fall Out Boy and I'm trying to think of like Weezer. That's like another comparable band to them back then. Although Weezer was still not the same way that we would talk about now. Back in like 2003, 2002. Like we weren't
2003, yeah.
Like they weren't talking about Weezer the same way that we talk about them now, being one of these massively successful bands. Because there was a couple years back in those days where like, I mean, Pinkerton came out and people were like, this band is not good. And then of course minds changed over time. Then like Pinkerton is now considered one of their best records of all time.
Yeah.
As we now stand in the year of our Lord 2020. But I digress. I mean, this album holds up and I think more people should take a look at it. It's definitely overlooked and I think part of it is also their follow-up to this album as well. It did not do as successful as this record did.
Yeah, but this is this was a good band and this album was a great album for sure.
Yeah. All right. So for both of us, the verdict is this holds up and also the verdict is criminally underrated.
Absolutely.
And third, you should definitely check it out and listen to it whenever you have like 55 minutes that you want to listen to an album.
And if you don't, just take our word for it. Listen to the podcast anyway and use our opinions as your own because welcome to 2020.
Yeah, where people don't have any actual real original opinions except for us.
This is the key to the Packy Run podcast. It's genuine opinions and it's our own thoughts.
Yes. Now we're going to wrap up here, but before we wrap up, we're going to get into some recommendations.
Yes, we are.
AJ, you got anything good?
So it might be a repeat, but dude, I'm telling you, the Menzingers released From Exile, which is basically a reimagining of their latest LP From Exile, or Hello Exile rather. This band impressed me more than I think they've impressed me even with After the Party, Hello Exile, Rented World. They reimagined all 12, I believe, songs off of Hello Exile, and they did it remotely. They did it all from their own kind of homes and studios and whatever. Mm-hmm. They really added some layers. There's a couple of little lyrical twists that they added as well, but they really kind of just tore apart the songs and remade them in a way that is very, very highly entertaining. It's a great kind of second look at how they could have approached some of those songs between some of the cello parts, there's synthesizer parts, there's programmed beats, there's some cool new vocal performances on some of the songs. They really knocked it out of the park on that. They knocked it out of the park on this one, mm-hmm. and that's why that band is held in such high regard for me and a lot of other people. Like they nailed it on From Exile. I'm very impressed, and it's available on all your streaming services. This coming Saturday, October 10th, they are doing a live stream from Studio 4 in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, where I'm sure they'll play a lot of those songs and some other ones.
True.
I will be spending money to get a digital ticket to watch that show.
Will the audience see you there?
You guys can catch me at that gig. And I will be sitting in front of my computer going, "Damn girl," in between every song.
Of course.
Shout out to Joe Baby Hands Caldwell for teaching me that.
Of course. My recommendation is very simple. If you're not already registered to go vote, I think some of the states' last chances are coming up. So definitely make sure that you are registered to vote and be a part of our political discourse in this country.
It's a right that you have. You should exercise it.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if the person that you're voting for is perfect. That's not how our government works. Find the person that's more closely aligned with what you actually want. Stop watching Fox News or MSNBC or CNN or, name a corporation. Don't take that as the be all end all. Take whatever information you can get from as many sources as you can get. Form your own opinions. Be your own person. Go vote.
Yeah, and that's all I got to say. And if you want to go the extra mile, go volunteer at voting booths in like those voting areas because they definitely need them. A lot of the workers that volunteer usually at the voting booths are elderly. So just be a part of the political conversation, the civil discourse in this country. That is all I got.
And make sure everything's on the up and up. If you meet somebody at a polling place or whatever that is willing to call themselves a Proud Boy, tell them they're worthless.
I love how that's been co-opted by gay men.
That has been a that has been a great little turnaround on that whole situation.
That's been fantastic to say. But I think that's all for this week.
That's all we got. It's a beefy one. I'm going to have fun editing this one. So I hope you guys listen. I hope you guys rate it and review it on your podcast clients.
Check us out on social media.
Give us a thumb ups. Yeah, give us a follow at Packy Run Pod.
Yep, that's both on
Instagram and Twitter. And make sure on the podcast clients themselves, make sure that you're tapping on that little star or the thumbs up or leaving us a review. It helps more people find out about your two resident jackasses sitting here and talking about whatever we decide to talk about.
That is true. But take it easy. Talk to you next week.
Stay safe out there. Bye-bye.